Hola, buenos dias. It's early morning here in Bali. And as you know, as much as I am an emotional well-being coach, I'm also a slow traveler. And I've decided that the world is my playground. And I wonder, have you decided that the world is your playground? Have you thought about have you thought about play? Have you thought about travel? I know so many people are tired, men and women, tired of all the things, all the expectations. Some of us are tired and really wanting to make massive changes. But actually you might not know where to start. And that's fine, because like the generation before us, like they worked hard and that's what they showed us to do. And for many of us, they gave us a gateway to education, to be able to be financially independent, sufficient, buoyant, in a world that windows have just been closed to us, and we've experienced glass ceilings and all of that. And so we're being asked to create or curate a new world for ourselves, a new dream for ourselves. But if you are in a place where you're just tired and you just don't know what the next step is to make, you don't know how to begin this journey, how to kind of become buoyant in this potentially new way of living. And by new way of living, I mean, look, a lot of us are getting to that point where we realize that the 9-to-5 job it's served its purpose for a few generations, and that we're now looking to do other things. People taking sabbaticals, career breaks, real massive work transformations, creating businesses, but also wanting to relax, wanting to receive from life. And sometimes that's hard to do when you're in these kind of frantic lifestyles. So these are my top tips. Just recognize where you are. Recognize, what are some of the things that you would like to change. And you actually have to create some time to think about it. So it could be over a weekend, it could be over a series of months where you just begin to just go inside and just figure out what are the areas that are no longer nourishing you, that are no longer satisfying. Take your time to do that. Is it work? Is it community? Is it creating satisfying relationships? Is it about money? Is it about, that dream that you left on the shelf to go and be an accountant? Is it that you're genuinely, internally, in your bones, in every cell in your body, are you tired? And not like a tired that is like you go to sleep for the weekend and you stay in bed for the weekend. Just a general fatigue and malaise on the inside. And that's really important to listen to. When we are busy, that's sometimes the time when you just can't access those feelings and all those emotions. So take some time, carve out some time. What is it that may be making you tired? What is it about the work situation, the communities, the friendships, the dating, the lifestyle, the travel? What is it? Try and get to the bottom of that. So that's number one. And I would say number two, once you've gotten to the bottom of it, what would it be like if you could dream what it is that you think is the antidote? Just by using the things that you did as a kid, which is daydreaming. If you could just have a bird's eye view into that perfect day, into that perfect community, work situation, relationships. What would it look like? But also, what does it feel like? And this is this can be quite difficult, because, you know, as adults we don't always daydream. Well, we've reserved that for childhood, but I would ask you to explore and to experiment with daydreaming, with you at the center. Yeah, you are the main character. This is your stage. So, yeah. So, first one is, you know, interrogate, get to the bottom of, like, what is the dis-ease? What is the ism or the schism? And 2, begin to start daydreaming about what it could look like and what does it feel like. And number 3, I would say, look, social media is there at your fingertips. Begin to start researching and reaching out to the people who have the lives that you think is kind of in line with what you want to do. Go on Instagram, have a look for those digital nomads, have a look for those international business owners, have a look for those slow travelers or world travelers or luxe travelers or whatever it is that you've decided. Just go out and observe the people that are doing that thing. Because you're doing a new thing, right? You're not going to get it right, and it's not about perfection, but it is about having a meaningful, nourishing, aligned life. A life that you are curating, right? So that's number 3. And number 4, don't do 1, 2, and 3 before you get to 4, is begin to be practical. What are you going to need to be able to get you from A to B? So where you are now to where it is that you want to be. What are the things that you need to be practical about? And that might include finances. That may include, you know, how close are you to retirement? What are some of the skills that you have that either you would like to explore or that you would like to translate into a business that might, you know, fund your life? And obviously, in you know, where is it that you want to be? You know, if you're wanting to be on Rodeo Drive, your practical finances piece is actually, that's going to be a serious piece. But if you're maybe thinking, you know, I might be in a less expensive lifestyle, you can begin to work backwards. You know, where is that place? Really, what would it mean to be there? Could you create community? So being really practical. And number 5, this is a really tricky one, and it is know thyself. You need to know your temperament. You need to know, how do you show up in community? So when you have the opportunity to be in community, how do you show up? Are there bits about who you are or who you've developed into that might need a bit of refinement? And that might mean that you decide to go into therapy before you embark on your journey. But it also might mean that you decide to get coaching or stuff like that is going to help you. Or you go on a real self discovery journey. Maybe reading books about, you know, how to manage some of the more tricky bits, the more sticky bits of our lives and our personalities. Look, none of us are perfect. We've all got our things. And you might want to be looking at, you know, how do you maintain boundaries? Are you someone who is very committed to things? Are you someone who is able to create life momentums? Are you someone who is like instant gratification? You know, are you someone who's easily triggered, easily angry? So in community, you might show up as someone who is frustrated, or someone who lacks boundaries, is a people pleaser. So that's number 5, and that is actually quite tricky. And I would say get help with that. And that might be books, it might be going, you know, following, you know, psychologists, or like really looking at some of the places where you might be challenged. And you know what, that's okay. You're doing a new thing. It's okay to approach things differently. But I would say these are my 5 top tips to actually get you started in thinking about curating just a different way of being, to deal with, you know, all those levels of tiredness, and actually to be able to reach out to just a different way of living. So let me know if these 5 tips have been helpful, if indeed you have made a major life transition in whatever way. You may have stayed home, you may have travelled. Not everyone wants to travel. You may have transitioned into a new career at 50. You may have done a whole host of things. And I would like to see your comments and your stories and your journey in the comment section below. And if you think that there might be someone around you who is trying to make a big leap to a new life transition, share this video with them. And it really helps me when you like, share, and when you subscribe. It actually really helps me to know that, one, I'm on track, and that this resonates with people, and that you might even want to know more. I'm also an emotional well-being coach, so if you would like to work with me, the details are below. Reach out to me. Hasta luego.